a special motor show preview of the Volkswagen Tiguan for the US market, or called Tiguan Allspace for the European market, because this one here is the Tiguan so-called XL, or with the long wheelbase. And this one here is today on Autogefühl, your number one resource for in-depth car reviews and your number one community to discuss cars with Thomas. We're going to take a detailed tour here on the exterior and the interior, and of course tell you everything, first of all, for US customers in general about this car, and also for our European viewers, what is different from the normal short wheelbase 5-seater version. Here you can also get optional 7 seats, and as I said, it will have the appendix name Allspace then for the European market, where you can also get the other version. Let's dig now into the details in full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go. Now we have a live test for, for all 7 seats, I would say. Ladies, please go. So, 1, 2, 3. 4. Now the seats can be flipped. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we can move the bench backwards a little bit. If you grab below, you can grab below. Yeah, and then slide back. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, there we go. So how you guys feeling here?
Great. It feels great. Nice and roomy.
Yeah. Great.
So it does fit for 7, right?
Yeah.
So how tall are you, each?
4'10".
5'3".
5'11".
5'6". 5'7".
5'8".
5'4".
Okay, so and that's, I would say, test solved. In the front, both Tiguan versions are pretty much the same, stressed by those horizontal fins in the layout. By the way, it's very interesting. Sometimes you can see a Tiguan where the middle fin here is not in chrome but in black, and I think it looks really better this way, definitely. And the reason is, when you have the top headlights, the top trim for the headlights, then it is also stressed here by the middle chrome trim, and that's why most of our test vehicles, because the manufacturers always equip them with the top headlights to show, yeah, that's what we got. Then we always got the middle fin here, but some of the customer vehicles have that one missing, because maybe not everyone wants to go for the huge, big headlights here with the best technology. It is being said that the Tiguan Allspace, or the Tiguan, just Tiguan for US market, has a little bit different front here on the hood. But I've compared it in 2 photos and couldn't really see a difference. Maybe the line is placed a little bit differently. But overall, I think an elegant but yet strong look. Not too rugged for sure, if you, for example, compare it to a Volkswagen Atlas. But I think a good stance for a compact SUV on the road. 4.70 m or 15'4" is the total length of the US Tiguan, or Tiguan Allspace. And this is a little bit longer than the normal version, so you have more wheelbase, 11 centimeters more wheelbase, and overall the total length is 22 centimeters longer. That will of course leave you more room on the inside. This is the same length than the Skoda Kodiaq, and both cars sit on the same platform, have the same length. So indeed there is a choice, at least for the European or also Chinese customers. And you can also see 20-inch rims here. The top inch that are mounted with this vehicle. And the general design is really accentuated by the designer on the height directly of the door handles. Pretty sharp stance on the road here. Also with a play of light and shadow. And then what is interesting, the frame here. So with the short wheelbase Tiguan, goes like this and comes here that way, and here the long wheelbase version, or the US version, this raises here a little bit with the chrome frame and then has the round shape. So this is just a very detail. I like that the design is carried out through over the fuel cap. That looks pretty dramatic. Other than that, the rear arches are accentuated by this off-road look in the black plastics. If you go for an R line later on, you can also have that one changed. I think it doesn't look, too stretched. It's not that the longer wheelbase is hurting the Tiguan design in any way, or what do you think? The rear is very typical for a Volkswagen hatch design and has now those stretched horizontal layout of the taillights. They have a little step right in there, look very modern. This one is the so-called SEL version. This is the US trims, and SEL is the top trim. You will also see it on the inside very soon. The price for the Tiguan Allspace in Germany will be 30,000 euros. That's including VAT or Mehrwertsteuer. And that is a little bit higher than the short wheelbase version, but the reason for that is it starts in a higher trim and also not with a very entry engine. We will soon talk more about the engines. Pricing in US is not decided yet as of today, but as the Volkswagen Atlas, a very large SUV, price is now revealed with 30,000 US dollars without VAT. This one here will be less than 30,000 US dollars for pricing without value-added tax. So that's interesting. When I'm standing in front of the car now and look down, I see what is meant by that the front is a little bit different. I think it comes a little bit further on, so it looks a little bit stronger. I think that our European short wheelbase Tiguan has a little bit more rounded front right here, so this looks a little bit stronger. Very interesting. So you can really see it here from when you're standing right here where I stand. And then let's take a look underneath the, I don't know, a nice engine layout here for the 4 cylinders. And well, what do you have? So in Europe, a Tiguan would already start with a 1.4 liter with 125 horsepower. That's not available, even not in Europe, with the Allspace version here. And this one here starts with a 1.4 liter with 150 horsepower. Then the 2 liter petrol engine, or with turbo. Then with 180 or 220 horsepower. And then they also got the 2 liter TDI basically for the Allspace variants with 150, 190 or 220 horsepower. However, the main US engine will of course be the petrol engines. Volkswagen's, not anymore into diesels in the US. And the 180 horsepower version for the US will have 186 horsepower. So 6 horsepower more. It's not a real big difference because the engines have a little bit different setup from the so-called homologation. So you are the process where you align a car to a certain market. While the big brother, the Volkswagen Atlas, is built in Chattanooga, Tennessee, this one here, the Tiguan for the US market, or Tiguan Allspace that you will get in Europe, is built in Mexico, in Puebla. And the question is always, is cars built in Mexico has less quality? Well, maybe it has been the case in the past. However, nowadays, I'm not sure if there are still any signs left. We can test the build quality right now, and let's try to find out, would this be an argument to say, I live in Germany and I decide between a 5 and a 7-seater, and I take the 5-seater because I know it's built in Germany, not the one that is built in Mexico. Let's find out. So we open the door, and it's the same door closing sound that we know from the normal Tiguan. This is here again, as I said, the high trim level, and with the Tiguan we usually find very good build quality, also soft materials used almost everywhere, also on the inside of the doors. Just this part here is plain plastic, reasonable space also on the inside of the doors. And then those seats here, I'm pretty sure this is the real animal skin setup. However, the same with the Volkswagen Atlas, you have 3 options: fabric, then full leatherette, so fake leather. You can pick that one when you want to wipe seats, for example. Climate-wise, fabric is always best. And then the animal skin, I think it should be that one. However, it's always hard to tell nowadays because the leatherette is getting better and better. And we have also seen the Tesla Model X, for example, where you couldn't tell the difference between like an 8,000 euros real animal equipment and, this serial leatherette. So, but I think this one should be the animal skin. You can always check the configurator prices or with your dealer then to get your choice. Electric seat setup we do have here, and Well, it's a compact SUV. However, you already feel like you would be in a big SUV. That has changed from the old Tiguan generation to this very all-new Tiguan generation. It feels like a bigger car. I realized when I first saw it on the IAA as the presentation. So you already have command driving view for sure. Not that huge, for example, in the Volkswagen Atlas. They have this very big front, which is like going straight here. The front is going a little bit down again, and that gives you a little bit better overview to the road. And headroom-wise, this is the one equipped with a panoramic roof, 1.86 m or 6'1", and still have room above my head. And if you want to have even more, then you would leave out the panoramic roof. Shouldn't be a good idea if you, for example, live in California, Texas. It can get a little bit hot, then you should probably leave that option out. So there we go with the cockpit overview. The Tiguan cockpit is always very clean, that's for sure. Here also now equipped with a new infotainment screen we know from the Golf facelift. All MQB models, also the Tiguan, will receive this new infotainment screen one by one. Now the Tiguan Allspace or just Tiguan for the US market will already have that one here as a top trim. Means these ones are not real buttons anymore, just those two. Those will work in a capacitive way. Here it says also, welcome to Volkswagen. Connected with the premium audio system. And then, for example, you can connect your phone via Bluetooth. That is the one possibility. There's also an inbuilt navigation or GPS available. You can, however, also use this app mode and then connect, for example, your phone via cable, here Apple CarPlay and stuff. Let's see if the map is available. Yeah, there we go. We're in Detroit here, so greetings to all our American friends here today. Funny thing is always, America, Canada, America, Canada, America, Canada, Homer Simpson style. So really funny, and we're here at the Garden Theater tonight. See, I think this view takes some time to. Whoa. Okay. So that takes some time. So in Germany, the GPS system was always a little bit faster. So maybe it has to do with the GPS connection, and sometimes those cars are also in pre-production builds. I'm not quite sure what it is about. Maybe it's the internet connection inside this hall here. I'm not exactly sure. But you see it works with zooming in and out and also scrolling. But I'm not sure what the reason. It could react a little bit faster like we are used to, for sure. And with car you can have the consumption figures and stuff. So for example, at the dashboard also the soft plastic touch is used even in the very far regions here. There's no hard plastic. So we find a lot of elements which are really, equal to the German build Tiguan for sure. Also the glove box is sliding down smoothly. Well, this one is hard plastic then again, but this really looks very much alike. Also with the, with the automatic, the dual clutch transmission, which we have here in the Tiguan version. Then also with this drive selector for off-road modes and stuff you will have when you have the 4 motions. So just the very entry engines will not have the all-wheel drive, and just optionally the bigger ones always have those. 2 USB ports in the very front are also available together with the 12-volt power supply. Then we come to beverage holders, which are adaptive, so fit different sizes. And well, there are maybe some hints. For example, I'm not sure if it's about pre-production or if it's really because it's built from another supplier in Mexico. For example, here, this armrest, it's fixed to right and left, but then again, if you let it fall down, that doesn't happen with the normal Tiguan. So my verdict is here that if you compare other cars which are mainly on the American market, this one here definitely has a better build quality, and a lot or most parts are really equal, but you find some, if you really look in detail, you do find some parts that are a little bit better in the European built Tiguan, at least if you go for this motor show model here. We will see it later on when it comes to the real serial production model, and then we will do again the test to compare the 7-seater and the 5-seater version, and then have a final verdict. But at least for me now, I think it's not really a reason to say I don't want a Mexican Tiguan because it seems pretty fine. Just in some very, very small details, then you can maybe say it. But I think the crucial decision should really rather be 5 or 7-seater. And now it gets really exciting because from the more on length and more on wheelbase, this will also affect the interior, of course, and it's supposed to have 6 centimeters longer interior in the rear. And I mean, the normal Tiguan, I think the seat is still a little bit further back. That would be my seating position rather. So from the normal Tiguan, I think you already have a quite good package, and here you feel that you have a little bit more space. Maybe I could even sit a little bit more in the front. But I've just been in the Volkswagen Atlas, and that was like surreal how much knee room you had there. But you see, you're really fine with my size. Again, the panoramic roof still works. If you're above 190 or above, say, like 6'2", then you should definitely leave out the panoramic roof, because then you have even more headroom right here, because the panoramic roof always, you lose this kind of headroom. But again, very comfortable sitting position, upright seating position here also in the rear. And one of my favorite things is also that you can adjust the rear part here, so you can make it a little bit steeper, or also, there it is, like this, can you make it a little bit steeper, or also put it more in the rear, depending on how you actually want to sit. And the difference, for example, to a Seat Ateca, which also has, a lot of leg room here in the rear. Here you can also slide the rear bench here to have more trunk, or then again to have the maximum room here for the knees, so you're quite flexible with it. And now let's go for the 6th and the 7th seat, and we can slide it here like this. Then you can also get in there, and the question is, how much room will remain? First of all, you just look right here. It's different than from the Volkswagen Atlas, because you see I'll sit a little bit cramped here. In the Volkswagen Atlas I can really sit rather like this, like upright, and also headroom wise, well, that does still work for me actually. That's interesting. Nice actually, but also a little bit more headroom in the Volkswagen Atlas. And now is the question when I slide down the bench. So this is the maximum setup I can still sit, and then you have to check how much knee room would there be in the front. Not really. And that shows the last seating row is rather really for very short guys. And the thing is, what they actually forgot is there's no ISOFIX cover here, and no top tether is there. Wait a minute, no, there's no. So the child seat is really rather for the 2nd row, but here the 3rd row, no child seat mount is possible. I think this is something they should fix. It's the same, by the way, in the Skoda Kodiaq. So what do we have here? There's the electric tailgate that is equipped with the high trim levels. However, you can also go with a manual tailgate, basically. Sometimes when you want to stuff something in, you can be more gentle with the manual tailgate. This is a setup here for the trunk. You see, we got this special cover here in comparison to the short wheelbase version, because this aligns the floor of the loading area with the 6th and the 7th seat. This cargo area you would have then when they are folded down. And you can see we got also more length than here with the long wheelbase version. Here beneath that is that cover hidden, for example. You can also put that button up, and also a full replacement tire. Then you can pull the seats up also from here, 6 and 7 seats like this. You need to have some power, but see, also works with just one hand. And you can also pull them down with the lever right here. So here put up the head restraints, and looking forward to how does it actually, behave when I sit in the rear here. And still, Volkswagen engineers, I have not forgotten about this. I think with Seat Ateca lately, there we had one vehicle where the torque was applied a little bit better. But here in the last Tiguan test, I think it's still too much torque with the electric tailgate if you do the child safety test. And it still is. Sorry, I'm still not satisfied, so I think it's a little bit too strong. Should loosen it up a little bit. And now my final conclusion for the day, Tiguan for the US market, or Tiguan Allspace, as this will be available in Europe. So with the option to go for the 7 seats. You do not have it automatically. You can then go for the 7 seat here. You can, for example, also just pick the longer wheelbase and not have the 7 seats, or pick a normal Tiguan in US and don't go for the 7 seats. But it basically makes sense because you're more flexible then. Exterior, for sure, very elegant, as we know from the Tiguan, yet strong, not too strong. And also the longer wheelbase doesn't do any damage to the general Tiguan design. Interior, very clean, a very good build quality. I did find some details that are better with the European build Tiguan, however it's, you know, no biggies. And we have to see what is it with the final version when we are past this pre-production model here, for example. It's a good package if we think about the space that is being used, for sure. And we've tested the knee space here. We also had the the test with very likable ladies here. I hope you enjoyed that one too. Of course, you have more space, for example, in the Volkswagen Atlas, but considering the length of the car, it's very good, definitely. If you compare a Škoda Kodiaq, there's a little bit more room on the inside. For example, here you get 115 liters more of the trunk space compared to the short wheelbase version. But you have a little bit more room than in the Škoda Kodiaq, for example. Which one you go for in Europe? Well, it's, I think, a matter of the dealer price you get, the concise price you get, for example. And if you rather, you know, connected with the Volkswagen or the Škoda brand, the technology is rather the same, for sure. And US customers now finally have the all-new generation of the Tiguan. That's the most important thing about this very car, and we've shown you that in earlier reviews. So also our US friends can also enjoy the other Tiguan reviews, because most of the stuff we told you there really counts for both versions, for sure. One element of the new SUV strategy from Volkswagen, especially for the US market. The other one, the bigger brother, the Atlas, you can enjoy that also. Will be linked in the video description. There was the world premiere with AJ, and now the Atlas R line with Thomas here. So enjoy that, and also more of our Detroit Motor Show coverage. This was very calm here tonight, but only because we waited very, very long at this exclusive premiere to have a very thorough presentation just exclusively for you guys. So I hope you appreciate our effort. Thank you so much for watching.